Folks, spooks, and ghouls, welcome to the Math Illiterate podcast of paranormal preparedness known as Werewolf Radar. I am Roger Norquist.
I am New Balding.
And Jordan Dahl is currently trying to find out who the skeleton behind us is. This week's episode is sponsored by Monstroko windshield wipers, in fact. Are you sick of normal windshield wipers that only remove rain from your windshield? Try the new Monstroko windshield wipers. These new sleek blades cut through water so well, you will not only see the road in front of you, but also the way your cousin dies. Fits all makes and models? Wait, look at your car right now. They're already on your car. And do not worry about the cost. It has already been paid. Monstroko windshield wipers from Monstroko.
Also a weirdly fun way to find out that you are your own cousin.
It's weird, but it can happen. I learned that from the Stupids, but with my own grandpa situation.
Okay.
There was a whole song about it. Watch The Stupids. It stars Tom Arnold. After he broke up with Roseanne, after Roseanne Barr broke up with him. Or maybe the other way around. It doesn't matter. We're a paranormal podcast, not a Roseanne Barr and Tom Arnold drama podcast. But
yes, here
think
we
about
are.
it.
We're absolutely Roseanne. I'll take on the old Scully.
Excellent. Pop open that skull. I hear all sorts of weird sounds. I can't wait to I hope Nate's okay though.
All right, what I found inside the talking skull is an extremely long version of what we would all say is a fortune cookie. And I shall now read from it of children who have been taken by the Fae.
It's Fae time.
An early account of fairy abduction involves a young woman named Anne Jeffreys in the parish of St. Teith, Cornwall, in England. These will mostly be in England, of course.
Of course. I assumed truly that or like Ireland, Scotland, and maybe a France out of nowhere, but we'll find out.
Born in 1826 to a poor laborer, she had always been a bright and inquisitive girl with a wild and active imagination. One of the things that really captured her attention and became almost a sort of obsession were all of the various tales of fairies that were all around her. The lore of her area was steeped in such tales, but for her, this was more than mere stories. As a child, she would spend much of her time out in the woods trying to find elusive entities and commune with them. And this habit would continue right up until she was a young woman, when she came to live as a servant in the family of a Mr. Moses Pitt and his wife Joan. So I guess...
so this is, she is a Fae speaker, a Fae whisperer?
A commoner who is maybe eaten a lot of mushrooms.
This is what I assume the situation is. They're just having fun. That guy's playing the mushroom drum.
Anyway, at 19 years of age, she was still going out into the forest, looking for little circles of stuff, you know?
As you do when you're 19.
Yeah. singing out at them in the hope that some sort of response to validate her belief that they were not, in fact, real. Little did she know that her efforts were not completely in vain, and that she was being watched. According to this tale, one day Anne was out knitting at the pit home when she suddenly went into a convulsive fit that left her ill and bedridden. Several days passed, and in her unconscious state, when she woke, she would have quite the tale to tell. Turns out, the kitten fucked up enough to force yourself.
It sounds like, in the skeptic sense, it sounds like she's out looking for mushrooms and inhaled some spores she shouldn't have when she's like, I don't know, trying to sniff out the fae.
It's also years. I mean, she's in her mid-20s, I think, at this point. And she's been talking to fairies for her entire life.
I believe that part. No questions there. I'm worried this girl's got mushroom poisoning.
That's what I was thinking. As a person who also has had mushroom poisoning.
But that's what that's quite the urge, but I would probably have that as well if I at one time was communing with the fae people. Wasn't for a short time. And then was like seeking to get that rush again, that fae rush as the kids call it.
Oh, well, as I would, the way that they tell it, it kind of seems that she just assumed that it would happen and she was looking for it.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. That's the energy I got.
Yeah, it took a very long time. But eventually, she did find herself in the fae realm. While she was fucking comatose. She would relate to her family and those around her that she had been out there knitting when she had heard laughter, looked around, and she found 6 diminutive men in green outfits and hats. And
diminutive green hats.
Yeah. We got some leprechauns, maybe.
Yeah, some cappies is what I'm gonna call them. But you know, like your brown cap, your red cap, I guess green cap as well.
The leader of the group has been unafraid of her, or had been rather, unafraid of her, jumping into her palm and then up onto her shoulder. So they're fucking tiny.
Oh, are we talking even like ankle height?
I mean, small enough to jump onto your palm.
That's a Thumbelina size, man.
Yeah,
I love that. That's adorable.
We're talking inches.
Get into my pocket. It's time to do this. And by this, I mean a buddy comedy that's maybe like a heist. You know, and then like I'll pose as a bank CEO, and like I'll get into the vault, and then he'll stay in the vault, and he'll open up everything, and then I'll return to the vault going like, I approve of this vault. Let me see it one more time to give it my stamp of approval. And then he puts everything into my suitcase. Briefcase. Sorry, that's what CEOs have.
It might be a suitcase. Who knows?
Anyway, buddy comedy.
It's 2025. You bring your fucking suitcase to the bank. Look, let's just say I'm not trying to leave the country, but if it happens.
If it happens and you have a leprechaun style buddy to do it with, all the better.
Well, and of course there is if you're a young girl,
I might be.
in Ireland,
I am not.
you might find yourself surrounded by several diminutive men. The leader of the group had been unafraid of her, jumping into her palm and then under her shoulder to kiss her neck and hair.
Oh, no, sir.
Consensual? We don't know.
That's just creepy for me, even if consensual.
Well, this is going to make the next sentence even worse. And before long, all of them were crawling all over her.
Oh, that's not too bad, though. That's a fun time.
That was when one of them had put his hands over her eyes, after which she had felt a prickling sensation, and then all had gone dark.
Oh.
Yeah, this didn't sound good.
Yeah, this went from a fun time to a even funner time to... Oh no, safe words aren't going to help us today.
Yeah, there may be an assault here.
Oh, I found out who that man is. It was in my history. He's Albert Brooks, I think.
Oh, yeah, no, we did. Fucking... All right. What a weird thing that we've done.
Yeah, well, I'm going to put another one up.
The next thing that she remembered was waking to someone shouting, "Tear, tear," or "Tear, tear." I'm not sure.
Tare, tare.
And when she looked around herself, she saw that she was upon a grassy knoll.
Nice, she did it. She's the one.
Holding a gun. In an unfamiliar, fantastical land of palaces, temples, and lush gardens, as well as azure lakes and a plenitude of brightly colored birds and other animals frolicking about. So, as much as she definitely was assaulted, they did take her to a nice place.
It does sound in my head kind of like the television descriptions of Avalon. Kingdom of the Fairies.
And I would like to point out explicitly, not a sexual assault. Just a general kind of fey attack.
There's only one way to enter the land, all right? And unfortunately, it requires your eyes being closed and a little bit of a prick.
Yeah. She was then dressed in an ornate flowing silk dress and led to a palace where there were fairy folk everywhere eating, drinking, and dancing. It would seem that she was there in the strange land for many days, during which time she fell in love with the fairy with the red feather in his cap. So,
Oh, the king, I assume?
well, the guy that took her down, it's kind of who was the woman that sort of worked for a bunch of Black Power?
A few ladies, and I might be confused.
Anyway, that's who. She's got that sort of syndrome.
Comment who you think it is in the comments. And is that it for your segment? I think that was just one, right?
Yeah, well, so she ends up going to this fairyland.
Okay.
It's a good time.
Pumpkin
Falls in love.
spice.
Has an entire life with this red feather capped guy that she does not name. So
names aren't necessary in the Fae realm.
Apparently not. And then wakes up and it's been one day in real time.
Ooh, a Captain Picard situation.
Yes.
The wisdom of a whole life in an entire night.
Oh no, she actually, the last thing she remembers is actually seeing that man lying wounded on the ground after a war.
After a war, she snaps back to reality. Oop, there goes gravity.
I really don't want to call it Stendhal syndrome. Really different thing. But fuck. Yeah, no. So anyway, the Fae, they're out there. They're getting you. Look out. And
pig iron's what I need, right?
Pig iron, 100%. Always carry a little bit.
I'm gonna take out my windows, put pig iron sheets.
Well, and if you go to Ireland, avoid, well, Ireland.
Just avoid Ireland in general.
They don't want you anyway.
They don't want you. It's overwhelmed with Fae creatures. If we want to talk about a real invasion of a country, it's the Fae realm's assault on Ireland as a whole. Ireland's for the humans.
What are the chances that we could make up a bill that would go through involving the extension of the intergalactic or interdimensional creatures?
I think we're pretty close to it, and here's why. We pass in great frequency, I might add, Bigfoot protection laws.
True.
And using that as precedence, I do have to believe that we are pretty close of making something protected because of blank spirit.
Oh, I just want ICE to go after what they think are interdimensional beings.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, no, I'm coming from the other side. If somebody's going to find them,
it's gonna be ICE.
Send them back. It should be the schlubby ass motherfuckers.
Listen, we're not, although me and Nate firmly believe in defunding a lot of aggressive military agencies, we are willing to fund you if you're willing to go out there and search for the Hat Man.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Go out there, go into our closets late at night and make sure there's no Hat Man. It's a weird political stance, but I'm standing by it.
Bust into the homes of unsuspecting people and just make sure.
just foot through the door, guns pointed at every dark corner, not people, but dark corner.
You can't hear it, but my roommate's dog just started screaming.
Yeah, the dog gets it. They scream at the baby starts crying, and they scream at the mom to sing a song of joy to the child, for it hurts the Hat Man's ears.
You heard it here first, everybody. This is Paranormal Preparedness.
Let us retrain ice. What's the next one?
Okay, so this is
My coffee's making me really aggressive too. I didn't mean to command you what the next one was.
Totally fine. I just had to find it. This one is from 1925. We also have a report of a woman who was pixie-led.
Pixie-led.
Yes.
I would be pixie-led, I feel. Depending on how the story goes, I think I would definitely be pixie-led.
I think at some point in most of our lives, we have been, quote-unquote, pixie-led.
Without going into it, because I want to be surprised, I have the idea of it going to where, like, you see something whimsical, magical off in the corner of your eye, and, like, you get glimpses of something fantastical, and you keep following it. That's what I think pixie-led is. I can't wait to find out.
Well, it's close.
I thought so.
So this is a story told by a Mrs. G. Herbert of Dartmoor, England. In 1925, Herbert was riding a horse on the moors of Dartmoor on a fine sunny day in an area of the moors that she knew well, when she suddenly and inexplicably became confused and lost her way.
Oh no.
Oddly, she recognized her surroundings, but some persistent fog in her mind was befuddling her and preventing her from navigating any of it. So she was like, I'm on 5th Street and I want to go to 4th.
Sure.
But somehow I'm on 144th.
I've done that before. You try and go to one block and then you're all like, well, I might as well go pick up some hookers. I'm close enough to 110th Street.
Yeah.
That's a Bobby Womack reference for anyone out there.
That might only be for me, and I have listened to that song less than 2 days ago.
Yeah, it's a great song. Anyway, you're going a block. She's having issues with...
Yeah, so she's confused. Seemed to know that this was... She did find that she knew immediately that it was somehow the result of fairies trying to fuck her up.
Oh, after the second time, I'm definitely on that board.
Well, this is a different woman, but
than the 104th Street example.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
But she has certainly also been inclined to assume that fairies are real.
In similar situations, I think that, or I immediately have to dial 911 because my brain had a seizure and I don't know reality anymore.
Well, and I think this predates that idea.
Oh, I forgot the year. We're 18 something.
1925.
Then I call the barber and he cuts me straight, gives me the haircut that's gonna get all this to go away.
Again, this is actually kind of close. What she does, she tries to trick the fairies by turning her pockets inside out.
Yes. I was thinking walking backwards might work as well.
Oh, 100%, yeah. And seeing the barber, if you cut your hair, the fairies will not know who you are.
Yeah, no, it's like Superman and his glasses, but this one would actually work overall. This is actually a better version of that. But what would you expect? Clark Kent to put on a wig every time he's Superman?
Well, I don't know. He's Superman. It feels like he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
He'll crush us all. He chooses to work.
As a great American, he chooses to work.
Yeah, he's all like, I must pay my taxes like a good American.
Oh boy, he does a 1099.
Even though he lives in the North Pole.
Here's another one. These are some people who have come back from fairy circles. I mean, I guess they all have been.
But come back from Fairyland.
But these are people who like almost got stuck.
Nice. This is that shit that I want to hear about. Gives me hope.
So this is the first one's from the Vale of Neth in South Wales, 1755. Two servants on the farm, and I'm gonna fuck this up. Rhys Ap Morgan.
Yeah.
And Levin Walter were walking towards the farm one evening when Rhys stopped and told his companion he could hear music playing, although Levin could hear nothing. Rhys told the Levin to continue back home while he went in search of what was playing the music so he could talk to them. Which, come on, your name is Rhys with an H and a Y, and you live in Wales. Your ass should not be going to try and talk to anything that you don't understand.
You should have been bred with this.
Yeah.
Inside, this is like kindergarten rules. Like this is stuff that should, like sharing is caring. You should have been taught, do not mess with the Fae.
There's a 2-year-old Rhys who's like, I know not to do two things. One of them is piss the bed, and one of them is mess with fairies.
But Rhys is the type of man who's all...
up the first one.
Yeah, Rhys is the type of child who went, but what if they have candy?
So anyway, he heads out there, meets a bunch of fairies, goes through the whole fairy thing where who knows how many times he got married.
Falls in love with a maroon cap.
Yeah. But when morning came, Rhys was nowhere to be seen, so Levin told his boss what had happened on the previous night. The area was searched, and they even searched for the nearby alehouse, but there was no sign of Rhys. So suspicion began to fall that Levin fucking killed him. So it was a whole year before the story found its way to a local farmer who thought it might have something to do with fairies.
Now, this is a weird story. True crime goes that far back, like paranormal true crime goes this far back in publication that we know of. It goes back farther, I bet, but what a great historical example of someone who's reading paranormal true crime.
Well, and also it does...
Or true crime and going, I think there's a paranormal tinge to this.
Yeah. Yeah, what a fun way to say, technically I did it, but it was the fairies. Because it seems like maybe, this guy killed this guy.
Oh yeah, like it seems like it. Maybe in a drunken stupor or something, but
who knows? Yeah. But definitely one person was not found.
Unless they went to the Fey land.
Well, So the local farmer asked Levin to take him and some friends, quote unquote, to the exact spot where Reese had disappeared.
Did
And
they
the
mean it
farmer-
ironically, like they're not really his friends? Like,
I think that they might be deputies.
so not really his friends.
Yeah, just some people. The farmer claimed that it was. So they go to the exact spot, and the farmer claims that it was a fairy circle, and that Reese had been snatched away with it. At that moment, Levin could allegedly hear harp music that no one else could, and the farmer noticed that the servant's foot was partly within the circle.
Oh.
When all present placed their feet within the circle, they found that they too could hear the music, and they could also see little child-sized figures dancing about along with the missing Reese.
Wow.
It gets weirder. Levin then grabbed his friend and pulled him out of the circle.
You should not. I am grooving with my little friends.
After which Reese said he wanted to dance a little more as he had just gotten there. When asked what he meant, Reese claimed to have been there for scarcely 5 minutes, even though a whole year had passed. Indeed, he had no inkling at all that he had been gone so long, and he also found himself unable to clearly remember his time with the little people in the circle.
Some mad crazy time dilation.
Well, also, he grabbed what should have been a murder victim out of a circle, and it was a guy.
I guess we got a lot of apologies to make.
At the very least. Well, and he wanted to stay in there. Who cares?
I would as well. Like, I think
It sounds like a party.
it sounds like a party. I bet they don't have the woes and whims of capitalism's mechanisms. They probably just eat berries and mushrooms.
Yeah. Although we have recently seen Fairy Blueberry go up on the NYSE, so.
Sad times. Hopefully it's not a trend in culture. Next one. Because that one blew my mind. I assume that was the last one.
Well, it does continue.
There's okay, good, because there's so much more. Like it interrupts the law. This is the judicial case of ferrying.
So there was apparently some sort of like legitimate look into the idea that, well, somebody pulled a guy out of a circle.
So this man we have
With the
in
government,
lockup.
we should fucking look at it.
Crazy, 1755 you said, or something? So like the time of reason is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. It should feel completely insane. Through the next morning, the circle was checked to find that it was trodden down and filled with tiny footprints the size of a person's thumb.
Ooh,
So they fucking closed the door.
Little feet. Like a land before time.
Oddly, after leaving the circle, Reese's health would rapidly deteriorate. and he died not long after.
Oh no. This
Yeah,
is the
'cause
only case where that happens, though, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay, so it's safe to be taken, it seems.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely don't live the number of years you're supposed to live.
Oh no.
Even if part of it is in a rapid section of time.
Okay, so you do pay a cost.
Only if you come back.
Don't come back, marry an elf.
So we do have another thing, and this is actually written in a book. In 1910, The Fairy Faith in Celtic Counties, by W.Y. Evans Wentz. This first case involves a witness that says that when he was a boy, he was out with his brother and his cousin, and they were almost abducted by a group of fairies. So here's a quote from that book. One day, just before sunset in midsummer, and I, a boy then, my brother and cousin and myself were gathering bilberries, aka whortleberries, up by the rocks at the back there, when all at once we heard music. We hurried around the rocks, and there were they were within a few hundred feet of 6 or 8 of the gentlefolk, and they're dancing. When they saw us, a little woman dressed all in red came running out and led us towards them. And then she struck my cousin across the face with what seemed to be a green rush. We ran for home as hard as we could, and when my cousin reached the house, she fell dead. Father saddled a horse and went for Father Ryan. When Father Ryan arrived, he put a stole about his neck and began praying for my cousin, and reading psalms and striking her with his stole. And in that, we brought her back. He said if she had not got hold of my brother, she would have been taken forever.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Just slapped across the face with extreme toxicity or something.
Well, and I think
a magical death spell.
I think that maybe the idea that it was because they were stealing from the land.
Yep, that sounds about right. Never steal from other lands.
The fairies came out and somebody, you know, somebody cut a couple hands.
Even if I do believe the rule goes only accept a gift from a fairy, and even then, more than likely, you should not accept this gift because that is a trick as well.
Well, also don't take a gift.
Don't take a gift. Don't take. Oh, should you give? Should you?
You have to. You give first to accept a thing.
So what you're saying is I need to first enter the realm with some banana nut bread.
Yeah.
Be like, yo, Faye, check out this shit, and then drop some bread right on the ground. Let them feast, and then I shall be king for a day.
And then you have as many whortleberries as your mind can be contented to.
Watch me not enjoy them at all. I'll be like, too sweet.
It sounds bad. Whortleberry.
I'm sure it's some old Germanic word. What did you say they were? Blueberries?
Bilberry.
Bilberry.
Probably blueberry.
I'm not a berry man, but I did buy some berries to make smoothies. I'm going to make smoothies after this.
Oh, make smoothies out of these tiny people.
I'm going to get tiny people. I'm going to get berries, and then I'm going to crack some orange juice and an egg in there. You know what I got? I got myself a stew.
I was gonna say an Orange Julius.
I've been thinking about Carl Weathers.
So yeah, anyway, that's a handful of things you should know from history about the Fae and about why you should avoid them.
You taught us a decent amount there. How they operate, their MO,
Yeah,
what happens, the results of it. It seems like exactly forces you should not be fucking with unless you're prepared.
Yeah,
And I am not prepared.
If you just hear some music out there, maybe it's a garage band, maybe it's somebody who's about to make you into their own world.
Would you stay? Would you leave everything behind for a capped fae with legs that go on for miles?
Oh boy, I should say,
And by miles, I mean an inch.
well, who knows what miles are in the Fae world?
Yeah. They use a old imperial measuring system. They use cubics.
So, if she has 15 cubits of leg, yeah, I'm in. What a weird eldritch thing I'm engaging in.
Yep. But that's what Werewolf Radar is about.
Yeah, we're the kind of people that will look into the face of God if it shows up.
Okay, so looking into the face of the Smoke God, I'm going to take this speaking skull and continue my segment on the North Pole, the secrets within. Last time,
man should not have gone.
Last time we started with the diary of one Olaf Jensen with his kind of long-winded description of him and his father beginning an expedition to the north. And they enter some strange lands. Many icebergs unpredicted, violent winds and seas unpredictable, far from what they are used to on similar expeditions. Then everything got very smooth with hardly, and this is the words of Olaf from the book The North Pole and Inner Earth Chronicles, the Smoky God, a voyage to the inner world, ampersand, the secret diary of Admiral Richard E. Byrd.
Boy, it's if you're gonna use 3 colons, you can't possibly have one with an ampersand.
It's you know what you get used to in this line of study and research?
I do.
Is a lack of grammar understanding. Grammatical understanding, I should say, proper. But it's a fascinating read. I truly doubt any of it is real, but what if? And we'll get to some of those what ifs and whatnot. This is kind of one of those what if strange reports from up north. And this was also, I do believe, I'm on page 48. This is, I think, 1830 is when this expedition is chugging along. Let me go back to we're on part 3, beyond the north wind. So like I said, they got through the bizarre winds of violence, and now they're on a serenely smooth sea with hardly a choppy wave, and the wind brisk and exhilarating. The sun's rays, while striking us aslant, furnished tranquil warmth. And thus time wore on day after day, and we found from the record in our logbook, we'd been sailing for 11 days since the storm in the open sea. So they're losing track of time.
Yeah.
They got very little food. The Olaf is finding himself just wanting to sleep. Like, it's so serene. There's nothing like happening at all. It's full boredom. It's nice and warm. It's not like sea violent sun, to where like you're burning up. It is kind of a hell. This is just like a pleasant little sail off the coast of Norway.
It's crazy that I can feel companionship with this guy's description of having a job.
So he's wanted a nap on the clock. The boss man, his dad's getting upset. Their food is holding out, but it's beginning to run low, like I said.
Well, time to, I guess, go fishing? You're in a fucking boat.
I frequently lay down on the bunker of our little sloop and looked far up into the blue dome of the sky. Yeah, flat earth man right here, me and him. Not Nate, who's a square earther.
Well, dodecahedron, but yeah.
Notwithstanding, the sun was shining far away in the east. I always saw a single star overhead. For several days, when I looked for this star, it was always there directly above us. It was now, according to our reckoning, about the 1st of August. The sun was high in the heavens and was so bright that I could no longer see the one lone star that attracted my attention a few days earlier. One day, about this time, my father startled me by calling my attention to the novel sight far in front of us, almost at the horizon. "It's a mock sun," exclaimed my father. "I have read 'em. It is called a reflection or mirage. It will soon pass." I like how, in feeling of the story, the dad did not speak for days. And then out of nowhere went, "That's a mock sun." The dad's hoping this trip can be a time to bond with his aging father. And he is just silent.
We've been waiting for that sun to show its fake face.
But this dull red false sun, as we supposed it to be, and you might be familiar with the illusion if you're a seafarer. Yeah. And you can have like two suns in the sky, one above it, then the reflection, or the reflection of the sun coming up. It creates some false suns that then normally go away into the true sun. Amen Ra.
Yes, at which point you fall to your knees to worship.
Are we Sobek? We're probably more Sobek related. But this dull red false sun we supposed it to be did not pass away for several hours. And while we're unconscious of its emitting any rays of light, still there was no time thereafter when we could not sweep the horizon in front and locate the illumination of this so-called false sun during a period of at least 12 hours out of every 24. Some very bizarre happenings, you might say.
Yeah, no, that's very odd.
This sun is now climbing into the sky and the sky is turning purple as they keep going upon their adventure. They keep going. As the sun climbs into the sky, they realize that this is not our normal sun, but resembles it, of course, being circular. But through the ocean mist to where they can see the outline of the sun, it appears to be not yellow, but a hazy red bronze appearance. And this would change to white light like a luminous cloud, as if reflecting some great light beyond.
Well, I hate that they're proving spiricism.
They go on. One day after they see this sun, the father goes, "Olaf, awaken, there's a land in sight."
God damn it, it's where we started.
And they see a land which they have never seen before. The father stands motionless, looking straight ahead, pouring out his heart in thankful prayer and thanksgiving to the gods Odin and Thor. I like how these guys are staunch pagans. Even in 1830, they're all like, "Fuck that Christ, dude. He ain't gonna help you at sea."
I do appreciate a late stage Viking.
They, as you might have remembered from last episode, during the storm and whatnot, the compass was going mad. The compass now is fastened back in place. It's working again. The dipping of the needle had ceased. They then too, our many days of sailing had certainly carried us far past the North Pole, and yet the needle continued to point north. Like, so they marked it on there, that way they knew exactly what degree they were at, and it's still pointing north. Like, they could still go north. They sailed the shoreline for 3 days and then came upon a fjord of immense size.
All right, well, I want to say there's actually no fjords in the North Pole.
This, there's definitely not. North Pole's typically all sea. This fjord, they learned, the inhabitants of this land call Hiddekel. Adorable language. They continue their journey for 10 days. They're very much inland. They come to finally water, which is fresh, because they were very much dry on drinkable water.
Right.
So they're just barely surviving. This is some Oregon Trail on hard mode type shit. They now think it's September, so like weeks are passing. It is definitely arduous. Suddenly, we were frightened almost out of our wits by hearing in the far distance the singing of people. And soon thereafter, we discovered a huge ship gliding down the river directly toward us. Those aboard were singing in one mighty chorus that, echoing from bank to bank, sounded like 1,000 voices, filling the whole universe with quivering melody. The accompaniment was played on string instruments not unlike our harps.
How tall were they? Because this sounds like faithful.
Oh, it's they're different sized. I will say that you are correct in sensing that they are an unusual size. This ship was larger than any we had ever seen and was differently constructed.
Already?
Indeed, the immense craft paused, and almost immediately a boat was lowered and 6 men of gigantic stature rowed to our little fishing sloop. They spoke to us in a strange language. We knew from their manner, however, that they were not unfriendly. That's some double negative shit right there. I do believe that they were friendly. They talked a great deal among themselves, and one of them laughed immoderately. As I don't know what that word truly means. I mean, probably moderately, like ha 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 ha. As though
I thought the opposite. I thought it was like a guffaw.
Oh, ha ha ha! As though in finding us a queer discovery that have been made. So probably the one that you're talking. Like he got flamboyant with it, if you will. He got large with his actions.
Look at these stupid little things.
One of them spied our compass, and it seemed to interest them more than any part of our sloop. Finally, the leader mentioned as if to ask whether we were willing to leave our craft and go aboard their ship. What you say, my son? Asked my father. They cannot do any more than kill us.
Yeah, well, okay, that's kind of a big deal.
Very Scandinavian thing to say. Especially since they were living in like a Russian populated town. That is the most Russo-Scandinavian. What are they gonna do? Kill us? We'll go to Asgard and hang out with Odin. All right. They seemed to be kindly disposed, I replied. Although what terrible giants. They must be the select 6 of the kingdom's crack regiment. Just look at their great size. The father replies, we may as well go willingly as be taken by force. For they are certainly able to capture us. Within a few minutes, we were aboard the ship, and half an hour later, our little fishing craft had been lifted boldly out of the water by a strange sort of hook and tackle system and set aboard as a curiosity. There were several hundred people aboard this. Go on, Nate. You're going to say something?
Well, I kind of just want to know, because normally when we're talking about tall people in saga situations, they're like 6'1".
Sure.
But it does seem like this is saying, I don't know, they might be like 10 feet tall.
Oh, you're getting really close as well. We're both good with understanding of folklore and storytelling, and especially towards these guys. We're going to get to that immediately almost. So there's several hundred people aboard this ship. They call it the Naz, which means pleasure, or to give it a more proper interpretation, this is named Pleasure Excursion. And it's a what am I trying to say? They're on a pleasure cruise. They're on a cruise.
It's also a big part of Boat Fast 2 Furious.
This is like if a Disney cruise came upon some like Atlanteans that weren't as advanced as us, and we were all like, bring them aboard. They're gonna party with us.
Well, good on Disney Cruise, I guess.
Yeah. Although they would probably figure out a way to get their money out of it.
It would be bad, but ostensibly a nice thing to do.
So there was not a single man aboard who would not have measured fully 12 feet in height.
All right.
They wore 4 full beards, not particularly long, but seemingly short cropped. They had mild and beautiful faces, exceedingly fair, with ruddy complexions. Ruddy complexions?
Ruddy.
The hair and beard of some were black and others sandy, and still others yellow. The captain, as we designated the dignitary in command of the great vessel, was fully a head taller than any one of his companions. The women averaged from 10 to 11 feet in height. Their features were especially regular and refined, while their complexion was almost most delicate tint heightened by a healthy glow. Sorry, I was coming up with whole words there. Both the men and women were particularly easy of manner, which we deemed a sign of good breeding. This also is tinted with huge bits of eugenics.
Oh.
Listen, it's Scandinavian men in the 1800s. You can only ask for so much.
Because I was kind of thinking they just ran into a bunch of people from the Middle East.
That also could be true. As I was a lad in only my 19th year, I was doubtlessly looked upon as a true Tom Thumb. My father's 6'3" did not lift the top of his head above the waistline of these people. The men were dressed in handsomely embroidered tunics of silk and satin. They wore knee breeches and stockings of a fine texture, and their feet were encased in sandals adorned with gold buckles.
Yeah, these are just Arabian people.
In this land, the banks and trees on the other side seemed to rush by. The speed of the ship at times surpassed that of any railroad train I have ever ridden on. Even here in America. I guess we had the fastest trains at one time.
Oh, they went, 5 miles per year for about 40 of them.
And in America, we could really juice these babies up. In the meantime, we had lost sight of the sun's rays. Where else is some good stuff? The strange people taught them that they were worshippers of this great cloud that would appear over the sky every 12 hours and last for 12 hours. It was technically how they had night. And they called it the smoky god of the inner world. Now we know where the title comes from.
Okay. Now, as established, I think these are people from the Middle East.
Yes.
They are worshiping.
You think they're in the Middle East, or they're people from Arabia that have come up north and they found them?
But they are worshiping a god that is a bit of a cloud.
Okay.
Perhaps a mushroom-esque cloud.
Okay.
And
I see where you're going.
And we have gone to war, ostensibly, with Iran.
Okay, I see.
Over the idea that they may have, and definitely do not have, a nuclear weapon.
Okay, I see. You're taking it a different direction, but I like it and agree with you.
Now, did these people time slip into a future where people were being the leftover people who had been part of World War III, a nuclear problem across the world that forced them to become these tall-ass monsters?
Okay, I'm back on board. I know where you're going.
And the only thing that the only place that they thought was left was the North Pole. And so they built a giant ark and went there to essentially have a cruise line event to see the end of humanity.
Parable of the Talking Skull. I'm on board. This is a very much adventure time universe, you know?
and they're all just sort of, they're trapped in this kind of an unending, like, glass ball of time.
I'm gonna say no.
All right.
But we recently...
I love a no but.
We recently did discover that it is possible to send matter through time. So...
Well, we should 100% be sending, at the very least, a piece of paper that says, like, do you like somebody in the class? Yes. Or no, circle 1.
We should find out the real truths. Let's go into the description of this area, and then we will wrap up my episode with one more of Olaf, maybe, but then truly entering the secret diary of Admiral R. Bird and asking, is this true? Are all these legitimate? Is there a realm underneath the crust, or what we know as the crust? The world of Argartha, the world of Shambhala, the world of other places that I forgot that were on the map. Who knows? So to resume my narrative events, Olaf goes on. The ship on which we were sailing came to stop after 2 days, and we were at 2 days after we had been taken aboard. My father said, as nearly as he could judge, we were directly under Stockholm or London. So they're full on board. We have entered the Hollow Earth. We are now under either Stockholm or London.
Well, if you are to believe the Agartha stuff, they have tunnels going across the entire world.
And they think they entered a fjord, and then we're flipped upside down. They're seeing the inner sun. They're now worshiping the smoky god. This city that they're in, they entered a port city, by the way, was called Jehu, signifying a port or seaport town. That's what the name means. So maybe the name has a different, or the port has a different name. The houses were large and beautifully constructed and quite uniform in appearance, yet without sameness. The principal occupation of the people appeared to be agriculture. The hillsides were covered with vineyards, while the valleys were devoted to the growing of grain. I have never seen such a display of gold. It was everywhere. The casings of doors, the tables, the domes.
This just sounds like they found a nice place.
Yeah, they're Scandinavian. They don't have nice things, okay? Vegetation grew in lavish exuberance. The fruit of all kinds possessed the most delicate of flavors. Clusters of grapes 4 and 5 feet in length, each grape as large as an orange, and apples larger than a man's head, typified the wonderful growth of all things on the inside of the earth.
Yeah, begin trade, my friends.
This it is their job to open relations and start trade with this, so the rest of the world cannot starve. This is too much food. Apples the size of a man's head. The great redwood trees of California would be considered mere underbrush compared with the giant trees here that extended for miles. Cattle.
I assume giant ones.
No, just cattle.
Just regular
cattle. The city that they're in is called Eden, but they were kept at Jehu for an entire year. Or no, let me re-say that. We heard much of a city called Eden, but we were kept at Jehu for an entire year. By the end of that time, we had learned to speak fairly well the language of this strange race of people. Our instructors, Jules Galdea and his wife, exhibited a patience that was truly commendable.
All right. Well, so Hong Kong,
yes,
was a port where they would stop you if you weren't Chinese for a long time before they let you into the interior. Did they just sail to Hong Kong?
By the name Jules Galdea, I'm gonna say no.
I would say no,
but he could be an instructor who, first of all, I've never known anyone to be 10 to 12 feet tall on average. But I recently saw a TikTok reel where a 8-foot tall Chinese woman was dominating in basketball. So I don't know what they got over there.
Well, in the late 1700s, China did invent basketball.
They did invent basketball and the world's first tall person.
It was insane. Yeah, they were 9.5 feet tall.
I'm going to leave this story here as we head to Eden. We're going to meet an envoy. If you can believe it, we're going to learn a little bit about Edenian beliefs and culture. The air around it. I got maps ahead of us. The story is getting wild. Like I said in our chat, in all caps, with a picture of me and my eyes had gone black. I found the meat of this story. After 2.5 chapters, Olaf finally gets there.
And it is insane.
It is insane. And then, let alone 200 years pass, and then Admiral Byrd fucking heading down there and flying there. Can you imagine? Maybe you already know, Nate, but the technological leaps that are going to happen through these 200 years. If they're already have a ship, a sailing ship more advanced than what these seafaring people know of, 200 years, man, they're gonna have laser planes and I don't know.
They're gonna have an icebreaker that actually pushes the edges of reality.
And that icebreaker is gonna be great for parties. Monstroko icebreaker, push the realms of reality now in collab with Agartha. That's what it is, not Agartha. Agartha.
Monstroko brand icebreaker. Hey, have you heard about Agartha?
Well, damn.
Do you have 55 minutes?
Do you have 55 minutes to hear about Agartha? Actually, I might be doing a 4-hour segment. Our segments are getting long and good. That's why we have more listeners. We're like number 38th in the paranormal, I think, podcast list on good pods, which I don't know what their ranking is, but I know there's a lot of people doing what we're doing, and we're in the top, I don't know, 70th percentile maybe.
I mean, being in the top 100 of what we do, I have to imagine there's 1 million other people we're beating.
Yeah, but we're the ones with the man whose name I already forgot above both of our heads attached to
Albert
the lights.
Brooks.
Albert Brooks, and we'll see if we can remember. Well, welcome to the bunker, everyone. If you're not familiar, we have a YouTube page that is our main home, kinda. We're almost fully monetized, so keep watching here. Subscribe, follow. You can see the bunker that we're in now. If you like what we do, check out our website to where you can find old and new episodes of the podcast. Not the YouTube. I need to work on our website again to make it more YouTube friendly. Right now it's more audio friendly, and you can hear old episodes starting from the re-wolfening, when we all woke up again after being in that chrysalis the first time, and then we chrysalis again. Listen to the episodes, get it caught up on the lore. werewolfradar.com. I'm playing games every Monday and chess right now until I become a national master. It's going to take me several years, but we're doing it, and playing Dark Souls, which will also take me several years to beat. So we're on it's a shared journey.
It is worth checking into either of those things.
You can also see Wednesdays. We're starting again very soon, playing our D&D game, maybe finishing that up and playing a Kevin Bacon-based game.
Well, depends on how much Kevin Bacon wants to be a part of it.
Yes. Yeah, because we need him to do a number of voices for us, or else this just won't work. If you really dig what we do, though, patreon.com/werewolf radar, and subscribe. I'm going to be working on that as well, and making just $1 Patreon level, because we're not doing this for money. So just like, if you want to help support the show, pay for all the cost and hosting, and maybe get us a video game or some nice equipment when ours breaks, patreon.com/werewolf radar. Hopefully, if there's enough of you, we can become real podcasters and do, ghost hunts we want to do. That would be fun. Or like deeper exposés that only patrons get. But you know what patrons get for signing up? Merch, art, and an exclusive episode called A Grave Nugget from one Nate Balding. He's the one that cooks them. He's the one that prepares them and sets them out. He is our master chef of nuggets.
A shugget, I guess.
A shugget, if you will. But that's enough of this promo. Thanks for hanging out with us in the bunker. If you remember the name of this gentleman up here, who's our secretary. No, not him. I meant the skeleton.
Oh,
who now has been working for us for, I think, 3 days, and I forgot their name, and it's too far for me to ask them again at this point. They asked if they wanted to wear a name tag, and me and you and Jordan were all like, no name tags here, man. No. We remember each other.
Well, I think we all assumed we would know them by their exposed ribs.
Yeah, but it wasn't a pun. Like, I know it's them because of their exposed ribs. They're the only ones that have exposed ribs here. But that's not helping me here. If you want a testimony on why you should sign up for our Patreon, num. Grave nuggets sure are tasty. Patron Cheesebot O'Doom. What more do you need? $1 at patreon.com. All right, everyone, let's wrap it up so we can go about our day on this sweltering hot day. Please stay inside, or get one of those rags that soaks up the water and retains it for a while. And put that, then put that on top of you to help you with the heat. Do the best you can, and survive out there in the new desert of America.
Yeah, it's happening.
On the count of 3, join us in this sign-off line. 1, 2, 3.
Punch the sky,
Spaceman Joe. And you too, Albert Brooks.